Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, October 21st, 2025.
You know, Jamie, I want to show everyone how much pain I'm in. I have the biggest thigh. I have to go to the doctor today. And I want to remind everyone that the reason why I'm wearing these glasses is to cover up the injury that I have. Very similar to Rocky in Rocky 2. Now, my name is Dan Reeses, and I want to just start out by saying a couple of things. Number one, if you notice my Instagram feed, the more good things that I post, the more followers I lose. And what's interesting about that is that positive content does not derive more followers, but negative content does. And I say that with all respect to anyone that really wants to hurt me by hurting my children, by ruining the U.S. Constitution's powers, by destroying law, by lying, by cheating, by committing crimes. We live in the type of society where constantly people like myself who are accused of things that we did not do find themselves in such an angry place that they react to the circumstances just in the way that their enemies want them to react. And very rarely do you hear about a story of a man rising above all of this and changing himself in front of the camera, in front of the world, in order to show the world how much he really loves and respects his own children and himself. The reason why I do this is to show my boys that real power comes from within, not out, as well as understanding that my true growth as a man really comes right over here. This calm, relaxed, non-agitated, clear-headed individual, a young man who is driven based on a goal of positive. And this is the worst thing for my enemies, and I'll explain. By me being calm, cool, collective, composed, and other things that sound great in iteration, I show both myself, my children, and more importantly, myself, because it all really comes from a systemic loop of an infinity in the mirror, with a man in the mirror and a mirror in the back. I say this with respect to my enemies because I realize that everyone wants me to go crazy and yell and scream and all that stuff, and none of that is going to happen. Because there's no way for me to show you who I really am without taking away the character that was created based on a quarter of a century of pain, and removing all of that pain and understanding that's in the past. In the present, I am intelligent, I love my children, and I will show both myself and my outside world exactly who I really am. I will prove it mathematically within the next few days by going live. What I mean by that is that we're not actually going to go live because the sensitivity and the nature of the content needs to be reviewed and uploaded. So what we are going to try to do the best we can is upload all the old videos, and I'll explain to you why and how. I will do this legally and without offending anyone and without hurting anyone's feelings. And I'll explain that within time. Right now, I have to take care of my eye as well as communicate with the outside world vis-a-vis Miss Resnick over here, who responds in real time to what I just said.
You know, people are expecting certain things and for you to have certain reactions. And I think your ability to keep your cool and rise above shows a lot about your character, especially right now during this time.
Thanks. So you understand that this is, the act is within the calm, cool, and collective human being, and inside I am crying and I'm in a massive amount of pain.
Yeah.
And that is due to the fact that I love my boys more than anything. So at this time, I'm going to explain to you what I need you to do.
Okay.
See, this is an art piece, nothing more. And the art really is going to start to expand and blossom like an atomic bomb of rainbow of happiness. And I say this because I currently identify myself as 3 factors that are very important. So let's get rid of this right over here and explain to everyone that this is a non-sexual, non-binding opinion of myself and the way I see myself in the present day of October 21st.
Okay.
Tomorrow things can change, but it's very important for everyone to understand that I would like to display my mental status as being very, how do I say, non-mentally ill. My logic and my reasoning is solely based on a set of circumstances that I find myself in where I wasn't the primary decision maker behind how I got to here, which means essentially that I am the victim of certain circumstances, and rather than playing the victim card, I explain that I am the victim, but I'm going to do the best I can to still rise above that because I'm a man of code and honor. I have taken an oath both to my family as well as other entities that I can't just abandon because everyone else abandons their oaths. And truly, I believe that people around me have acted completely insane based on the fact that I do not ask for money, I am not conning anyone, I am not doing any of this for any financial profit, nor has my story ever changed. I see myself as a public figure who posts and communicates through the live media of the world, whereas my enemies hide in the shadows, and I have not seen a single public response to anything that I have posted that goes against what I'm saying. So the very nature of the lack of existence of a formal public argument or anything against me just will show you that all of this content is completely unopposed. That no matter how many illegal court orders or any illegal gag orders you create, all you're doing is showing that I am right about everything. And I can't keep expressing this because I believe that it causes even me stress because I still care about the people in my life that are technically currently going against me. Mainly because we have a common interest in Drake and Pierce. I love my boys. I don't understand how that is not understood by people, that is my motivating factor. Material possessions, things like that are not important to me because I have made them all myself, like a big boy, many times over. People don't hand me anything. As a matter of fact, most of the time, can I have some water?
They try and fight you.
Everyone fights me about absolutely everything. What?
No, this is yours.
Right here.
Hold on.
All right,
No.
thanks. And essentially what I'm saying is that I will need to step forward immediately. I cannot wait until October 31st. I have to start working immediately, which is today, which means that I just want to let everybody know that you have a couple of days to fess up to what you have done until I fully start submitting the work that I need to do. Obviously, I cannot launch Victorious right now because we need to generate income. Right now, we have 3 years while the White House is controlled by Donald J. Trump, which means that I have exactly 2 years to build my business entities. I don't understand what is so insane about that. I don't understand. I really don't. I'm going to do the best I can.
That's funny.
to.
I don't understand what's insane.
Well, you have to understand your enemies in order to really progress as a human being who has oppositions, also known as ops. All right. So essentially what I try to do is put myself in the shoes of the people that are going against me in a non-violent game theory, warfare type of style. And I do not understand how people are able to motivate themselves to hurt children. Ultimately, I want everyone to understand that I am the biological father and I love my boys and I've done absolutely nothing wrong, nothing illegal. It is just a matter of the only way to hurt me is to hurt my children. And I have allowed that to really affect a spiral of negative sentiments and decisions that I was forced to be a part of, including the last 2 years of marriage where I desperately tried to change the circumstances and not be affected, but I did fall into a state of slight depression based on the very nature of the circumstances that I'm not really ready to discuss. And I say this because no matter how many times, I've been illegally arrested 5 times. I've spent 24 days in jail. That in itself is the crime. The people who put me in jail
Right.
are actually responsible for a series of crimes.
Yeah.
And no matter how much they want to change the facts are the facts. And I find myself in this world of people who are denying reality. And I understand why, and I'll get into the explanation so that it's documented, recorded, so no one can say I didn't warn them or tell them so. And this is not a threat, and this is not some sort of a veiled angry speech. This is nothing more than me explaining that from the beginning it's been me versus the singularity. The singularity is a very real thing that even if you deny what it is, I respect your opinion, and unfortunately I cannot just simply ignore reality, while the people that are in the close circle around my life choose to ignore it because it is the opposite of what I believe in. It is not their actual opinion. It is the opinion of the singularity, because the people that I'm going against are completely enchanted with both social media as well as other people's opinions. I was not able to get to the root of it until Ms. Resnick gave me some information on my second to last day of incarceration. So I understood the entire time what I was doing and what I'm still doing, and I'm fully aware of all aspects of reality. And I think that that is a very important factor for everyone that dismisses what I have to say, because I respect anyone who has something to say as long as they're actually saying it and they're not afraid to say it. The people that are going against me are so afraid of my words that they have very little opposite words that are not lies. In order to go against me, you pretty much have to soil your own reputation and submit a series of declarations and lies, because my life is too complex, too strong, and too powerful to lie. A lie will discredit everything I do. If I find myself in a situation where I've over-exaggerated or have lied, I will immediately admit it. I have no reason to not admit it. I live a very clean and holistic life. Is this true?
Yeah.
I do not engage in the things that people are accusing me of, but at the same time, I recognize why I'm being accused, because we have gotten to a point where people have so little to say based on the fact that they're completely in denial of my motions, my requests, and everything else, that I actually feel bad for them. I feel bad for my enemies, because what's coming is a fully legal onslaught of litigation based on the fact that both myself and Ms. Resnick over here are actual human beings. We are parents, we are humans. The way we've been treated is so much worse than human beings.
So worse.
And I have tolerated for 1,450 days. I will not tolerate it for 1 day further, which what that means is that I will peacefully continue to make content that really takes out my enemy's strategies of creating a conspiracy going against me and Ms. Resnick over here. And I say this with all love and care for everyone that really wants to destroy my life. Please understand that you have failed. The reason why you have failed is because you cheated, and I explained to everyone that there are certain rules. I also explained to everyone that the main rule is never violate my children's rights. The people that, no matter what you say, I know for a fact exactly what happened. I know exactly what's been going on in the background, and I know exactly what the next attack plan is. That being said, I will not tolerate another day of this nonsense, and I will peacefully explain to everyone what is going on, what has happened, and how I am going to resolve this. In order to do this, I will have to work approximately 90 hours a week. Are you prepared?
Yeah.
Okay. I do not need you to work 90 hours a week. I need you to work 40 serious hours. Do you understand? That's it, 40. Please understand that a lot of what you're about to see is myself. What I would like to say is that if a human being's potential was measured between 0 and 100%, over the last 5 years, I've been at between 1 to 2% in order to sustain a growth pattern as well as the foundation for October 31st. At this time, I would like to calmly explain that I would be at around 15 to 16%, which is approximately 8 times what I've been operating at. This means that I would like to show, based on my work, my output, my capacity, and I have never really been myself since I moved to Livingston, New Jersey. But I would like to calmly explain to everyone that what you're about to see is 100% real. It is a growth, it is a transformation, and it is extremely important for anyone that is going through stress or very difficult times in their life that they listen and understand that the pain that I'm in is indescribable. Miss Resnick is in a lot of pain. I speak for her because she has a very hard time expressing how much she really loves her children on camera, and what is and has been going on is not only illegal, it is immoral, and it is hurting children. And that is unexplainable to me as a man of code and honor, and there's a silent majority of people that will watch this and say, you know, I don't agree with most of what this man has to say, but he is right on this
You
factor.
are right.
I am right on this factor, and I have really allowed a lot of people to take cheap shots, jabs, insults, and everything else like that at me, because my one and only motivation is to not hurt my children, and that is very difficult to do when you are the subject of so much ridicule and pain, and the pain is deflected
Right.
and immediately sent to my children once people realize they can't get to me. Ms. Resnick, do you
Yeah.
understand what I've said? I really
do.
needed to get that off my chest
I'm
before
glad
we
you got it off
begin.
your chest.
We have to, I really gotta get to the doctor, and
I know.
I gotta help myself. Now, Ms.
Take care
Resnick,
of
is there
yourself.
anything else that you wanna add, and is there any reflection that you have regarding what I've just said? Let's go ahead and erase this, and I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna launch first.
Erase just this date?
Yeah, just erase this date, and I'm gonna ask you to put an X on everything I do, okay? Go X. 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 That's it. So this is a one-shot deal. I'm gonna go ahead and launch all of these very calmly through various communications, and I will also document the process as much as I can. I will do the best I can. It's hard for me to wear the glasses sometimes and film because it kind of impedes on my ability to be private and let people around me be comfortable. When people find themselves being recorded or the potential of being recorded, they instantly change their personalities, and it's extremely frustrating for me as a human being who understands the difference between a recording device and a recording device. And the reality is that we live in a digital world, and people need to be expected to act as if they're on camera all the time. And when you have a split persona, you really create a lot of difficulties for yourself as a human being should the digital world be turned off.
Do you think it's easier for people, like kids who grew up with a cell phone right away, to act more natural and themselves on camera as opposed to people who didn't?
It's a really good question. We don't live in a world where there's enough data for me to actually and accurately answer that question. Furthermore, I'm extremely skewed because my children are my children, so genetically they would be born and bred to be able to communicate in a digital world. So my outlook on the way I answer the question is, it's skewed. My data is solely based on two brilliant, beautiful boys that understand how to communicate in front of the digital camera and do not have that issue, whereas maybe some of your children find themselves in a difficult spot because both maybe you and your ex-husband were not the best public speakers in a true sense, meaning that I've seen you communicate with a lot of people on YouTube. I've seen his content communicating publicly, but at the same time, neither one of those are the true self that you are.
For sure,
So that's why I say to you that
for sure.
until I see another like 3 to 5 years of the way the world, like I need to see my children grow up. For you
Like, it's
to
just so
answer.
interesting because if you think about it, our kids grew up with the phone in their face, like us taking videos of them and pictures all the time. And when I was a kid, like you had to whip out a huge camera to take pictures, and then you had to go get them printed at the shop and everything. So it was more of like a special moment when the camera came out.
You're looking at it forwards, not backwards. The taking of the camera pictures is useless. It is the ability to query and show the images on command and create a narrative on those images
Oh,
forever.
that's interesting.
It is the reflection of the images, of how we watch them, how we store them, how we communicate through those images. The taking of the images is not what it's about.
Really?
It is an old way of thinking because the original film and video was, it's not old, it's just we've evolved to a science that it is the brain's ability to look at the pictures and how easy it is to store the pictures that is the actual, it's in reverse. Whereas before, it was the taking of the pictures, sharing them manually.
But like now even, like,
How you take the pictures don't matter, it's how you show the pictures that matter.
yeah, I mean, I understand.
You never were able to show the pictures before, you had to
Right, like on command, it was like, he had to go
That's
back to
it.
the house, find the album.
And then
look
if
in
you
the
had too many
box.
pictures, are you carrying an album around with you? You know? We have 78,000, what do I have, like a semi-truck that comes around where people have to walk through a galleria of my past?
Yeah.
So essentially, the point of everything that I'm trying to say is that it is imperative for everyone to understand that all of this big talk does not exist in perpetuity to a narrative of this guy, Dan Reese, is a liar, he's insane, he's on drugs, he's a criminal, look at all these things. Look, either I'm lying or the other person is lying. I don't know how to make it more simpler for all the idiots.
What are you talking about right now?
I'm talking about the fact that it is impossible for both people, both myself and the people I'm going against, to both have some form of being right. It's either I'm right or they're right. And I can't get the courts to actually understand that I'm willing to put all my cards forward, be deposed, answer any questions, go in the box, I want the same rights, and everyone avoids the reality that at the end of the day, I'm right. I'm absolutely right on all matters.
That's because they know you're right. They don't come back with like real arguments. They just come back with procedural BS that.
In one breath,
keeps
I'm
us
yelled
up.
at and told that I'm not a lawyer. In another breath, I'm yelled at and say that I make procedural mistakes.
Yeah.
Either I'm not a lawyer who gets a little bit of, needs to have a little bit of leeway,
Right.
or I can't even finish the sentence because it is so comical and how ridiculous. And the videos that I'm going to post throughout the day, you will see just the laws that were broken and exactly how unfair and how difficult it is for me to work, not only while I'm dealing with massive amounts of stress in my personal life, but what has the difference been by removing myself from both the toxic environment, but at the same time not having an office, ability to have access to my documentation, and the realities of the ramifications of the loss of my ability to do business, which is tortious interference with business. And when you look at the facts, once again, both people cannot be right. Either I'm lying or my wife is lying. That's it. Either the bank is lying or I'm lying. That's it. Either Bob Menendez is lying or I'm lying. Oh, I guess I won that one. But I will tell you that when I am explaining to everyone, look, this is what happens to criminals who take it too far. No one listens to anything that I'm saying. Not a single person understands that it is not in my best interest to hurt anyone ever. All that does is proves my enemy's positions. So for me, I want everyone to be healthy, good, safe, mazel tov, all the best, Zagazun. But I do want to remind everyone that I am a human being. I'm in massive amount of pain due to the reality of the fact that my children have been alienated. And look, the sickness of the adults around my children is that they actually believe Dan's kids are annoyed by him. They're alienated and brainwashed, guys. They're 9 and 11 years old. They're little boys. And it is just so criminally negligent for anyone in both law enforcement as well as the courts and social services to ignore both my rights as a father as well as my actual facts as a victim of domestic violence. And should I have been a female or maybe of a different race in Essex County, which is predominantly run by a mixed race of Democratic political criminals. And when I say that,